Hello guys, what's up? What's good? What's going on? Welcome to Becoming That Girl with your girl Kina Komatadita Simelane. And today I have a guest, Mr. Blow Up.
Mr. Blow Up is the first time
Mr. Blow Up.
I prefer to be with that name, Mr. Blow Up. Interesting.
Yeah, but like you are.
Yeah, I'm blowing up, I know.
You are. So I have none other than Kudzai today, and I am literally so happy. He is a podcaster too. The host, right? Your host.
Yeah.
The host of the next big thing that's gonna blow up. So how are you?
No, I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm good.
That's good to be here.
We've literally been talking. I don't even know what we're gonna talk about in this podcast now. I have no idea.
Yeah,
But yeah,
very
we'll make it work.
Yeah, most definitely.
So I'm gonna ask you,
Mm-hmm.
what are you reading these days?
What am I reading? I'm reading a book called The Black Swan by Nassim Taleb. I hope I'm saying that right. So it's a book about how human beings think we know, but we don't know. We literally don't know nothing. Give an example. We like to predict the future with nothing at all that we know about the future, and we always fail. But we continue doing it. We continue doing it because, like, literally, there's so many factors that can affect the future that we do not have. In the book, he gives an example of the 9/11. You know, the bombing of.
The popping up.
Yeah.
I know that.
It's like before 9/11, who could have
Predicted
predicted
that it was gonna happen. Yeah,
exactly? But after the 9/11, everyone, like, the whole system changed, thinking that 9/11 is gonna happen. But before 9/11, who would have thought about it?
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, forget 9/11 is not gonna come back again. It's gonna be another thing that we have no idea about. It's just gonna come, and it humbled me when I'm thinking about so many other things in business. We're thinking, I'm gonna make so much money by this time, you know what, by this, and then boom, by that period, you get so much disappointed because you can't predict the future. Human beings is one thing that we suck at, but we continue doing. So it's just an
Continue predicting the future.
Yeah.
But don't you think that not necessarily we can't really predict, but like our actions, the actions that we obviously make today, do affect the future. So low key, you can predict.
Would you have predicted 9/11? That's the
Of
question.
course not. Of course not. But like I'm talking about like your personal life.
Your personal life there are actions that you can take to make your future, but then predicting things like by 25, I'm gonna be the richest in Swaziland. That's very, very risky business. Because by 25, you get there and you are not rich, you're gonna be disappointed, you think it won't work. But having such goal is very good, but it's gonna give you like a beacon to know, like, I'm going there.
I'm going. Yeah.
But at one time,
So
risky
basically,
business.
you can say that I'm gonna be rich, but don't basically put a time to it.
exactly, because we just suck at predicting, and look at the average age in general for a person to get $1 million is like 40. So if you're like 25,
You're like a 25 or maybe.
you are you are the black swan. Actually, if you reverse it, you are the event that never really happens that nobody thinks of. So the likelihood of you being a black swan is also like very slim. Think about it. So it's just a box that just changed my mind. It's really, really interesting, you know, like the way you start looking at life, how human beings, it humbles you at the end of the day when you start thinking about it. Yeah.
So are you applying any of that knowledge that you get?
Yeah, most definitely. It really has helped me because, you know, for example, with my podcast, when I started, I'm like, yo, by this period, I'm going to be this. I'm going to be having 1,000 followers. I'm going to be having what.
Yeah.
And every time I get disappointed, but I keep on doing it.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, now, okay, cool, this is not working. 1,000 by this, I try to adjust, but no, you can't really predict the future like that. Just be good at what you do. Just give your best. Give your best.
That's really good.
Exactly,
That's
and
good.
it'll work out. But I'm not saying stop working towards getting those followers. Continue doing it.
Yeah.
But then when you don't get to a certain number, you won't get disappointed because willpower. What I discovered, willpower is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the more you, like any muscle. The more you exercise, the more it gets tired. So if you continue doing it over and over, at one point you're gonna quit. That's why human beings like we quit a lot because we set up these unrealistic goals. Because like we forget, like just before I was explaining to you about this process of natural growth. We are babies. Anything that you start is a baby, but you want it to be running like Usain Bolt. You see? And that's literally what we do when we're predicting the future. Like by this point, I want to be there in a year. And then you start with the people that have succeeded in any field. Very few cases, very few cases did it in a very short period of time. It's 10 years, it's 15 years. And who are you to be like
in a year I'm gonna be.
Yeah, I mean it's nice to think like that, but realistically we're looking at 10, 15 years of continuously doing the same thing. And I mean, all of us as youth, we're doing so many multiple things here, there, we're jumping. But these people are doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then 10 years, you have that. It's like, the exponential graph, I don't know mathematics, the exponential graph, it starts very slow. And then in one period, it goes up exponentially. So, but the period from the start to the period where it's moving at a very high velocity, it's longer because it takes time. You're fighting so many battles, but when you reach a certain point, it's just gonna blow up, and you can't even predict where it's gonna go now. It's just like so much. If it's money, it's just coming from nowhere. Like, oh fuck, where's this money coming from? It's crazy.
That's actually got me thinking because also like obviously I just started my podcast and I'm also I think when I started I was like, we're gonna see where it goes, we're gonna, and then obviously now I'm like sitting beside, okay, now by this time I wanna be this, at this time I wanna be having so many followers, at this time I wanna be getting paid sponsorships and all that, and I guess what I'm getting from you is that work towards that.
Yeah, work towards is that's the thing. Just work towards it.
Don't time it. Don't.
Yeah, timing it. It's tricky. It's like there's a for and against this argument. Like I can go for both. I can go for both. Like because timing, like I'm telling you, it will give you a beacon to know where you're going at. But you just don't need to be disappointed. So you need to have like at the back of your mind when you get there and you have not achieved that point. Don't get disappointed and say, "Yo, I didn't achieve," because like. You can't predict so many things. Like today, you're doing this podcast. Tomorrow, you're in hospital. That's gonna affect the whole podcast. You've been in the hospital 3 months, and you have this whole goal, like, in 3 months' time, and this whole 3 months you're in the hospital. Yeah. You just don't know.
I get it. I was reading another book I was telling you about, the monk
who sold his
Ferrari, and they were basically talking about how when you put a time to your goals. It influences you and pushes you to actually work hard towards those goals. So now what I'm getting is that, okay, I time my goal, I work really hard to get to it, but when I get to that time, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, you get disappointed. The thing is, humans, we suck at predicting. I mean, you just gotta read that book. We suck at predicting. Whenever we put a goal, we forget the phases of growth. There's the baby stage, then there is the child stage, then there is the adolescent stage, and then the adult stage. All these stages we forget, we only think about the adult stage. So when starting, maybe to give you a more realistic approach, start at the podcast. How long did it take Mark G to be Mark G? For example, he's probably the best podcaster. Now he's the Black Swan. Now think of the other podcasters around who have been trying to be Mark G. Use all the data and then you can have a realistic date to say, maybe it might take me 15 years to get there. Now that's a very realistic goal. And then you set different milestones. So it's like the goal does not have to change. You want to get to Mark G. But the things that you're doing along the way can change, can vary as you get to your goal. Like now you know where you want to go. It will really help you now not get distracted. You're going to Manzini, I don't have to be distracted by Ezu, by whatever, Lobaba, all these places along the way you're going to. So it will really help you go where you're going. Like, you know where you're going.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea, I think, of setting the time, the number, or whatever you want to call it. It will really just help you with that. But other than that, man, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, other people You know, we want to be Delulu. We want to be ultra thinking, you know, by this age, by this time. I don't know. But for some reason, I do believe that it low-key helps. It definitely does help on the putting in the work. Because obviously, if I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the very same thing. Obviously, I'm stagnant. I don't have a time to it. It's so easy for me to like give up. It's so easy for me to be like, I'll see it later, you know, and not put in as much effort as, especially if I haven't timed it. I haven't put a certain thingy to it. You get it?
I get what you mean, but like I said, it's like, you know, you're going to Manzini. Are you gonna get distracted by Ezo? Because Ezo is nice. They've got the spas there, they got the hotels, all the nice things there in Ezo. But you're going to Manzini.
Yeah.
So it's up to you. It's really up to you. Your conviction now matters. Like, are you really convicted that you are going to Manzini? Or Ezo is nice. I can just tell. Yeah. You see, so the conviction now is what really matters. Your goal really needs to convict you so much that like you can't be stopped by anything. You know where you're going. Like, I want to be the best podcaster. So if I'm gonna come and offer you $1 million to be a singer, now
I need to be like,
you need to have the conviction to say, nah, you can't buy me. This is where now those conviction really helps, because it won't corrupt your goal and it won't corrupt you once you have that crazy conviction. Because if anyone now comes with money and tries to convict you with money, you know, like, nah, money is nothing. It's just paper after all. So I'm going to Manzini. This is where I'm going.
This is what I'm going.
Exactly.
I'm going to get to, no matter how long it takes.
So the conviction is really what you need to really work on with any goal, because we do so many things without conviction. That's why we're easily swayed by Ezo. Because at the end of the day, Manzini was just a dream. We're just like, exactly. You were not convicted. Your whole self, your being, you were not convicted with going to Manzini. You probably were just going because Kudzai is going there. Or because my mom said I should go to Manzini. So if Ezo comes through, you're gonna be swayed. So the conviction is really what makes you gotta be convicted with your goal. That's what's really important. And then whatever comes your way, you know, like, I'm going to Manzini. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I get it. And I guess if you're very, very like convicted and you know where you wanna go, the time won't matter.
Yeah, the time won't matter. The time is this thing, because like, look at, we have so many examples as human beings, but we choose to ignore them.
Yeah.
Look at our parents. Ask them, when did they think they were gonna be the it? Yeah, ask them. They will tell you so many stories, but they are not that. They might not be at that point, but we choose to forget and we keep on doing it. So I'm saying, like, we have so many examples. Our brothers and sisters, like, stories have been written. So many people. I mean, KFC nigga, what was he? 60?
When he literally came
when he blew up.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he had been.
Exactly. And it's the few people like Mark Zuckerberg and all that were told about, because they are nicer. But so many people have gone through time. That's why the average millionaire is 40, because it takes a very long time.
And obviously in that process you need to fail.
Exactly.
In that process you need to learn.
You need to learn and unlearn so many. You think you've got it now, but you're like, nah. It's the wrong lesson. So it will take time of learning and learning, and you keep on going and going, and then it's like I was having a conversation with my brother. So I was doing this thing. It's really big. Like, yo, bro, by next year I'm giving him like, bro. He gives an example of Tinashe Mutarisa. He's like a Zimbabwean guy, really rich, big. Like, bro, it took him 14 years to be where he is now. Don't ignore those numbers. They're really important. Go into your field, study the people that are in that particular field, and get a realistic goal. And it will help you now, because you will know that where I'm going is going to take a long time. You won't get disappointed when all these things come. You know, it's a whole process. It's natural growth. You're going to be a baby. You're going to be...
Start rolling.
Exactly. You're gonna be falling down. And then it's a whole process. And I mean, it becomes beautiful, I think, because you enjoy the scenery now. Like, it's taking time.
Exactly.
You know?
And I think I get the point about it's a whole process and all those years that you can't just, I'm guessing, partly if the guy that you were talking about, Tinashe, if he got all that money, maybe in like a year or two, he probably would have blown it.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
he
No,
needed
he
to
probably
learn.
would. He would have blown it.
Yeah,
I certainly can say this.
that he would
He
have
would have
blown.
blown it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's also a concept
Mm.
that money has laws.
Mm.
And those laws can only be learned. And if you are not doing conscious decisions to learn those laws, no matter who you think you are, if we give you that money, you're gonna blow it.
Uh-huh.
So one thing that also comes with time is with time you learn the processes, and then when you get the money now, you know, like, I'm not supposed to do this. That's why we have so many lotto winners.
Uh-huh.
They become so broke because
Uh-huh.
they don't have the principles of
And the
money.
capacity,
You don't even know what drives money in an economy. And we're gonna give you $1 million. Eric Thomas always says, if we give you so much money right now, you're gonna get arrested because you don't even know how to do your taxes. The government is probably gonna take more than enough, like more money than they should from you, because you just don't know how to handle the money.
Exactly.
You see, so all those principles, you learn them also through time, or you can actively learn them, because like one thing that can also shorten the period is reading. What are you reading? Because some people have done it for 40 years, now they know, oh shit, this is how we're supposed to. You learn from them. You learn now the money, like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then you can now be able to, if you're investing, you invest wisely, because you know, you've learned it. Then the money now, when I give you $1 million now,
Now you know what to do. Now you'll probably even make it more, make more money from
if
it.
I give you money right now, I don't know if you're gonna be sane.
I won't. You know where I'm gonna be?
Exactly.
Dubai. You know where I'm gonna be?
Yeah, you might actually be in a hospital by that. Exactly. It's so many people. Even myself, I don't know. I have not reached that level of understanding money to that level, like that capacity. You know, to be able to hold it. We just I want to be rich. I want to be rich. But what are you doing to be rich? Are you even learning how to be rich? All those principles, are you even learning them? All those things are very, very important. So some of these things we don't understand them. That's exactly the point, I think.
So we need all this time to build capacity for whatever goals we want, for whatever dreams we have. We need the time to learn and fail.
Exactly.
And learn our mistakes and all that.
Yes, I mean, just an example of this podcast. If I was going to ask you, like, what's the market chain of the podcast like? Do you know?
No, child.
Have you ever spent time to even, like,
not even.
And you set a whole goal to say, but this period,
By
I
this
want to be
period, I
there.
want to be there.
But you don't understand, because the market chain, you also understand who's behind you and who's after you, because they affect you. Who's behind you? The producers. If the producer does not come to this podcast, you will not have this thing. So when you understand the whole market chain, now you have it there, you understand, oh, you make a contingent. You say, all those things now, they're going to help you now. And that's how you kind of shorten the journey, by understanding the whole system. But we always get excited, like, I want to be there by this point, but we don't even
what
get...
What are you doing to get there?
Are you even studying the whole podcasting industry? What's required? All those kind of things. Probably don't even have a business plan for this thing. You don't even have a whole marketing thing for this thing, but you want to be blowing up in the air.
You want to blow up.
And we do that in not only in this, so many things in
so
our
many
lives.
things in life,
We don't. We just do it, and we continue to get hit, and we are so dumb as human beings. I'm sorry to say this, because there's this statement: continuing to do the same things over and over and expecting the same result.
A different result.
Yeah, I mean the different result. But look at this: how many times do we human beings continue to do the same things over and over and over and expecting different results? We only say it when it's another person, but when it's us, that law does not apply. Yeah, I know. I'm guilty too.
No, okay, yeah.
Exactly.
We really have a lot of work to do, right?
There's a lot.
We really
It's
have a lot of work.
I mean, the human being is so complex, man. It's just so complex. We really need to work on ourselves. And it's also unfortunate, I think, that as I hate to use the word as Africans, because I've never been to another country that's from Africa. I've never really lived with other cultures to understand what they do. So I hate using as African. So as Kudzai, I never inherited wealth, for example, from my parents. So it means I have zero understanding of wealth. But I want to be wealthy. It means I have to actively learn to be wealthy, because it cannot magically happen because I saved. because I want to be wealthy, then I'll be wealthy. It's a joke. It's a big joke because like how many people like before me that have tried to be wealthy in the Mushambi family, like the whole genealogy, how many of them, and they've been failing, and just because I say it, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. So you need to work.
It's so much
that.
work.
You need to educate yourself.
So much education. Like you leave the books aside, because a lot of us think the books is the education. That's like just part of it. There's so much you need to learn that's not given at school. Because like if they were giving it at school, we'll all be wealthy.
Yeah.
It means it's not there. You need to like actively learn. Then that's where it comes to like sacrifices that we have to make as individuals. Because it means you gotta be different. That's exactly what it means. You just gotta be different. You need to. You don't have to do what they're doing. That's at the end of the day, and that's a lot of sacrifice. Not many of us can do it, and we have to accept it. Like, because that's the confusion. Not every one of us is supposed to be the person, because we're not all the same. And acceptance is a good thing. Just understand, like, I can't be, because like it's a lot of, like, sadly all the great people, the Mark Zuckerberg or whatever, those niggas have sacrificed so many things, but we only look at the nice story. And don't look at what's not told. And what's not told is what's important, because it's what made them. And we forget that. We only look at the nicer part and continue to get disappointed, and then we quit at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I guess also just as much as you're reading the books, also familiarizing yourself with the people who've done it.
Yeah, exactly.
How they've done it. What has it taken from them to do?
Yeah, it's more, and it's also like a thing where like some of the people you can't have personal interaction. I mean, I can't go to Mark Zuckerberg like, yo, bro, what's good? I'm Kudzai. Like,
what's up?
Like,
Yeah, but we have the internet now. We can
exactly. We have the internet. We have books. I think books is the best place to learn. Like, you gotta read. Like, you gotta read. There's the book, the Black Swan. So he gives an example of a guy who has a library, like a huge library. So every time he invites someone into the library, they always ask the question, how many books have you read? And he always says, I'm offended, because it's not about what I know that's important. It's what about what I don't know is what's important. And coming to us, what we know does not work. That's what it means. What our parents know does not work. We should be worried
about what we don't know.
We need to know. So that's why we need to make reading like a daily bread. Like read every single day. Because like so many people have done so many of the things we're trying to do, and they had the pleasure of documenting it into 100 to 200 pages. And you literally read someone's life in 200 pages. It's probably like 2 days of reading someone's life.
That's a privilege.
I mean,
that is. I mean, it's something that has taken them 10 years to learn. They'll give it to
not 10 years. Someone's life. They're probably 70 years old when they wrote. So you're reading 2 days? 70 years in 2 days?
2 days, yeah.
And if you continue doing that, imagine if you read 100 books in a year times 70 years. You've literally lived 700 years.
Damn!
You see? So that's the knowledge. Now when you attack, if a problem comes to you, you're no longer attacking it as Kudzai. You're attacking it with 700 years of knowledge. And now imagine the power that you can have. It's like you're bringing all their minds into your head. So you are attacking the problem with 100 people, an army of 100 people behind you. You're just no longer the Kudzai alone.
Damn.
You see the difference now?
Oh, I do. I really do. Because I was reading this other Christian book about demons, and they were basically having a conversation. And one was like, people think that we corrupt humans by putting things into their mind, but really, it's what we block out from coming into their mind that will mess them up.
Exactly. It's very important, and it's a form of fanaticism. being a fanatic.
Okay.
Yeah, being a fan. It's like you are a Manchester United. Sorry, Manchester United fans. You are a Manchester United fan. You keep on thinking you die. If someone gonna say Manchester United is the worst, you can fight. That's exactly the approach we have to life. We are fanatics to the current state we are in. So much so that when someone says something against it, we are offended because we are not. You need to be a detached observer. That's the only period or only time you can be able to take criticism effectively and apply it into your life, because you're a detached, you're like looking like at the house, like, oh, that house there, it needs painting. If someone comes and says, oh, that house needs painting, I'm like, oh, cool, I agree. So if you
your house needs painting,
your house, you're now attached to the house, like, oh, who do you think you are?
Yeah, so who are you?
You think I can't see? So you also need like to be a detached observer to even your own life. Detach yourself from these, so that when people, even you can start looking at it, because you're no longer attached to the house. Like, oh, no, that house actually needs painting. You can see it yourself. So we need to detach ourselves from being fans of our own lives, and then allow other people, these are the books, to influence us, so they can help us see that no, you need a new living, you need a new painting, all those kind of things.
And I guess it's also really important what you're getting into your mind.
Exactly.
Because obviously, there's so many things that we expose ourselves to. And I guess the book I was reading was talking about how your mind is a garden. And what you put into that garden will determine how it's going to turn out.
Exactly.
So make sure that you're feeding yourself with all these good things that will nourish your mind and not damage it and not make it worse and give you maybe a bad look out of life and all that, but actually something that's going to nourish you and actually make you become the better person that you're going to be making.
It's a very important concept. It's like we have so much negativism in society that we have allowed it to be normal. We think it's normal. Some of it, we can't even blame anyone or ourselves because we found it like that. So the garden that you're talking about is constantly being fed wrong things, like at a very, very high frequency. You just go out the house, it starts like boom, 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 and we think it's normal because it's always been like that. But the garden is getting corrupted. It's just getting worse and worse and worse as we go. And now, if you do not consciously try to put in positive things, like it's in the music, it's in the movies, it's in the radio, it's in the newspaper, it's in social media, it's in the people around you. That's the negative things that I'm talking about. It's in everywhere. So it's like the bombardment of negative things that are coming into the garden.
Literally everywhere.
You can't even help it. Because like you just go out the house, it's a newspaper headline. You open your phone, it's someone texting you, your friend by the way, they're texting you the thing, and you don't even have the power to tell them like it's wrong. Also, it's like they are the friend. You see, so the bombardment is just a lot. You can't even keep up. If like counting, you can't even count. So you have to actively, actively try. Not try. You need to do it.
Do it, yeah.
Put in positive things in the garden, because everywhere you go, there is so much negativity. There is so much. Like I can't even start saying some of these things, so I'm not trying to offend people here, but so much. So we need to really act. And reading, like I say, it's one thing that you can choose. Like, I can choose to read this kind of information and thereby change the material that I planted in the garden, and then the fruit will become positive.
Exactly.
You see?
Exactly.
So it's some of those things that we have to constantly do, like on a regular basis, just like we are eating, because like we eat every day. You can't not actively put something positive in you every day and think it's fine, because you eventually just not be good. It's like you're planting wrong. You can't report. We're talking about it. Reaping what you sow. Yeah, exactly. Reaping what you sow. And so many times we sow bad things in us and expect
good result. Yeah. Damn. So I guess we basically have to take make the decision to actively put in negative things in us? Oh, damn! People! Put in positive things.
Exactly.
Put in positive things in us.
We have to.
Through reading, through the people that we interact with, through the spaces that we're in.
Like through everything. It's one thing I am very, very conscious about. Like I'm happy about my family. Like it's really been amazing. Thank God, or whatever you want to call it, for putting me into that family. Like we don't have a TV at my house. So that's like so much removed negative, like the negative things that are on TV, you don't know. So it's like, that's a huge percentage removed from me. And then you go to social media. If I didn't have the podcast, I would probably be not on social media. So for me, social media, I'm not actively involved in social media. And also the people that I follow, like even on my WhatsApp, I'm sorry, some people that are on my WhatsApp, I don't even view their status because I block them. Because once you post a negative thing, I don't wait and give you another chance. I block you immediately because I can't control you. I can't control. I don't know what you're gonna post next. So like, open your WhatsApp, so many what do you call muted status? Because I'm actively trying to plant.
Block out all
exactly, because there's so much. So the things that I can control, please, this is my life. I can control. So you go to social media, and then now to friends. My little sister always asks me, "Do you have friends?" Like literally. Like, who's your friend? If she finds someone coming for herself, like, oh shit, you actually have a friend. Like, cause like, it's not about the crowd like that I have around me, like so many people, because there's so much negative things out there, so many negative people out there. So I'm actively also trying the people around me, so that they're also coming with positive energy. So all those kind of things, I can control those. So I try by all means to control those. What I can, I will control. Definitely, I will not. I won't give you two chances. Like the things I can control, like
once you get send me a message, negativity, blocked.
Send me a message that I don't like. I'm gonna tell you, like, please don't send me this again. That's it. Like, why should I be like, oh no, it's not. Nah, it's my life, bro.
Yeah, I get to control. Right? Setting those, but I think it's very important setting those boundaries, especially when it comes to your own health and stuff. So setting boundaries.
They are important, and I don't know which book I was reading, and it says, once you draw a line, he actually gave an example, is how he tested. It's like, if he draws a line, and say, this is you, or another way is like, it's actually the same. If I draw the line, and say, this is your space, and this is my space, and then I'm gonna push you and coming into your space. That's how he tested. And he sees people who have boundaries by that test. Usually, people who don't have boundaries in life, they're gonna be pushed and continue to be pushed until the nigga is in his space. And they are comfortable with it. But people who, like,
like, what are you doing?
Or try to put some resistance into being pushed. It's exactly put it in life. So many people come into our lives, it might be friends because you wanna fit in. You let them continue to push your boundaries until they're into your space, and then they are corrupting you. You don't even know it. And the thing about being influenced or changing a habit, you're unconscious about it. That's the thing. We are not. So many things in our life happen at an unconscious level that we can't even keep up. I think it's good. And it's also bad because there's so many things that the mind is processing so many things. If we were conscious about it, it would be crazy. It would be insane. So when you understand those principles, that so many things happen in it, like this conversation, there were so many things. What I'm saying right now, they are at an unconscious level. Now I'm saying them because it's like a computer program. Now I just keep on saying it. Now you go to the habits. The habits that I do might differ from what I say because habits are at a very unconscious level. You see, so when you understand this principle, you start understanding that don't get pushed so much. Don't allow so many, because they influence you at a subtle level that you don't even understand how it works. And then when you keep on letting it happen, it becomes a habit. And a habit is very difficult to break. They will tell you 21 days, they'll tell you whatever days. I've tried all those.
And it's really
21 days for me is like a very short period of time. I can't break a habit in 21 days. Like waking up, like, oh, I want to wake up at 5. Oh, 21 days. I will do it 21 days on the 22nd.
On the 22nd, you're
I'm
sleeping.
back. Yeah, there's so many formulas. So you can't really predict. So there are so many things that you need to be actively try. No, just do it. Don't be influenced if you can control it. Because it will become habitual. And once it's a habit, it's very difficult to break. You can go to drug addicts right now. How hard it is to break that cycle if you're a drug addict.
If you want to.
Yeah, it's one thing. Like, I don't do drugs. I don't drink because I know it's a habit that will be very difficult to break I'm not saying drinking is bad or what, just on a habitual level. It's a habit, and once you have that habit, it will be very difficult to break.
Yeah.
So now, if you choose to smoke today, just know that you're starting a habit. Just think 20 years later, do you think smoking is gonna still look cool?
Gonna look cool, yeah.
You just think about it. Don't think about it. Take examples. This life is to be lived. Take practical experiences from people who just go in the streets. Look at them. To think like, do you want to be like that? And if you're cool with it, cool. You can go.
On,
If you don't, now think twice. Like, maybe I might want to pause. So this is some of the things that we have to constantly do, and also by the friends now that are coming and pushing you, like, yo, let's smoke. Now think about like, oh shit, do I want to smoke 20 years later? 40 years later, do you think this is going to still look cool? If it does not, don't.
Draw the line.
Yeah. If it does, you can continue. Yeah, it's your life after all. We can't continue praying for you. I mean, praying can only do so much. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's in the person. If they don't want to change, they can't.
You need to make the conscious decision too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can't.
Damn. And I guess it's because really the pressure's gonna always be there.
Yeah, the pressure's gonna be there.
The pressure's always gonna be there. You need to actually take initiative.
Yeah, you need to take initiative. That's why I said you need to know who you want to be. Not everyone is gonna be Mark Zuckerberg. No, do you want to be a Mark Zuckerberg or not? It's a very important decision to make. I feel like it should be made at a very early age, so that you know what you can expose yourself to. It's an example that I'm always giving to my friends, like for dating. Once I crossed 18 years old, I've never dated an under 18 years old because I know where I'm going. Look at last year, I think, or the year before, there was the Me Too movement. Look at how it destroyed so many people because when they were so big at some point, they thought nothing can touch them. And then they were sleeping with 16-year-olds and it was fine. And 40 years later, it took them down because I know where I'm going. I don't want 40 years later for some 16-year-old. No, she won't be 16-year-old, but she'll be 40 and I'm 60. Then she'll be like, yeah. And now there's so much social media. She would have pictures. She would have everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, niggas, I'm just not gonna go there. I know where I'm going. Please, don't even. I don't even bother. I'm looking the other way. That's it. Because I know where I'm going. So you see, I know where I'm going. It really also it's what we were talking about earlier, the beacon. I'm going to Manzini at the end of the day. I'm not going to let Ezluwini disturb me because I know I need to get to Manzini.
Yeah, and the decisions that I make, I can't now be taking a Kumi that's going to go to extension 3.
Exactly.
If I know I'm going to Manzini, I can't be doing things that in the future when I'm in Manzini, they will literally take me down.
They will take me down. They'll take me back to Babs. And I'm trying to be in Manzini. So understanding that at a very early age, like, where am I going? Do I want to be Mark Zuckerberg or not? If you want to be, there's certain decisions that you have to make. There's certain sacrifices that you have to make. There's certain places that you can't be. Because, like I said, human beings were so dumb. There are so many examples that keep on popping. For example, you want to be president one day, and they're going to show you a picture of you in Solanis. Like, and that picture was you 20 years ago, but it's gonna haunt you. That's how crazy, because human beings are so naive. They still think you're the same person even 20 years later. They will still use that picture against you. And then You need to look at all those things. Where do I want to be? And then, for me, it puts so many limits. I can't just go anywhere. Like literally, I'm like, no, I can't be there. I can't do this. Like I'll tell you, like, no, I can't do that. It's literally what I know I'm going. So I'm not gonna let anything or anyone distract me. Because what I have is bigger than anyone else. That's how it is. I know where I'm going. That's it.
So literally know where you're going.
Yeah, just know where you're going.
Know
it's
where
very
you're going.
important. Yeah, it's very important. It will help you a lot. And the journey will be nice also, because once you know where you're going, I feel like a lot of people get FOMO because they don't know where they're going.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. You don't know where you're going, so you get. If you know where you're going, anything that's not aligned with where you're going, it's not missing out. Because it's not where you're going. It's literally just not where you're going, so it's not missing out. So like me personally, I don't know if, I don't know, maybe the last party I was at is probably my 4-year-old cousin party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm not saying parties are bad. They're just not aligned with my goal.
And where
I'm going. So I just don't go. You invite me, I'm like, bro, I'm sleeping. I love my sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I only have 6 hours of sleep every day. I'm not gonna like minimize it with anything else. You see? So it helps me. Like, I'm not gonna miss out even if you pause. Then what? Yeah, cool. It's your part. It's not mine. That's it. So I won't have formal like, yo, I'm not doing this. And I'm just at peace of mind. Like, it's just the way I'm going.
Damn, that is legit. This is an amazing episode. This is really an amazing episode. And thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. I've learned a lot. Like literally after this, I need to sit down and be like, girl.
Yeah.
You
No,
know? Yeah, and
yeah, but also we one important thing is we have to forgive ourselves, because habits are not easy to break. That's why it's very important. It's like a habit is not an easy thing to break. They will tell you so many hacks on the internet or whatever. So when you know that, then you are very conscious of the habits that you create. Because you know, once it's established, it will be very, very difficult to break. So now, with that said, we already have habits that are not for us. After I've said all these nice things or whatever, and you're gonna go and try to apply them, if you go with the mentality that next week or whatever, you're gonna do what I say. Some of the things that I say, maybe I don't even do them. I'm still working towards them, because I started doing this when I was 18. So I have 18-year-old habits that I have to break.
That you have to break, yeah.
So is 1 year gonna be enough to break 18-year-old habits? You see what I'm talking about? So when you have that consciousness, it also goes back to the estimations that we're talking about, where you're like 5 years from now, you're trying to break an 18-year-old habit, and you're giving a 5-year timeline. At least give it an 18-year-old, because it's equivalent to the 18-year-old you've been creating the habit. You see, when you have those realistic timelines now, when you go and now try to apply some of the things that we're talking about, it will help you now. When you fail, it's fine. You're trying to break a habit that's been accumulating over a long period of time. So it's okay. You won't get frustrated. You won't get disappointed. You won't be frustrated for so many things, because you know, no, it's fine. Just accept it. Don't feel guilty when you do it. If you're smoking, when you go smoke again, don't feel guilty, because guilty is a negative energy at the end of the day. That's why I don't like anything, any media or whatever that tries to make me feel guilty, because guilty is a negative energy at the end of the day. And it's a very, very powerful energy, because energy does not matter if it's positive or negative. If it's high, it will multiply. It will really make something grow. So if it's a bad thing and it's with a negative energy at a high frequency, it will multiply. So don't feel guilty. It's okay. If you smoke again, it's fine.
Just try again.
Do it on another day. And you on another day again. Before you know it, you will start having bad habits. Bad habits living and good habits popping up. You won't even realize.
Because also, I think also just saying that I'm going to break a habit doesn't really work. At least if you try to replace that habit.
Exactly.
Because obviously you need to trade a habit with another habit. Obviously that's going to frustrate you.
You need to, all those things, you need to understand those semantics, because there are a lot. And once you have them in your consciousness, you will be content at the end of the day. You will know. If I smoke, if I was a smoker and I'm trying to break that habit, and I find myself smoking, it's fine. You just continue. You try another day. If I'm trying to break a habit of waking up at 8 o'clock, now I want to wake up at 4. If I woke up at 9, the following day, it's fine. You try again the next day, and you try again until the habit is broken. Because these are habits that have been, it's like you have been hiding it. If it was soil, and it's a truckload of soil, you put a coin there. You put the first truck of soil, that's the first year. You come next year, you put another truck, and it's 18 trucks, that's 18 years. Now you're trying to find the coin.
That's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time even.
So having that understanding will help you be fine when you sleep back. Yo, it's 18 tracks that we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not easy. So just be fine with it and continue trying it. No, continue doing it. Because trying will give you an excuse also. So continue doing it. Next day, you just continue. And before you know it, it becomes a new habit that you're formulating. Yeah.
No, I'm really glad. I'm really happy. I think this is the end of the episode.
I really enjoy myself.
No,
I love talking too much.
I mean, you have a podcast, but you don't really get the chance to
Yeah, or maybe that's also on my podcast I don't get. So actually, when I started the podcast, I was doing solo conversation, like monologues. I want to go back to that.
Yeah.
I really want to vlog in a podcast kind of way. Yeah, so I really want to bring that element to my podcast as well, where I just sit down and talk and talk and talk. Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Because you have some really good stuff. Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to like, subscribe, share this podcast, so because people need to hear this knowledge this man just dropped. Okay. So thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and guys, make sure you check out my podcast.
Yes, please do.
The next thing that's gonna blow up.
Is it the next big thing or the next?
No, the next thing that's gonna blow up.
Oh, I don't know when I got the next big thing. Anyways, the next thing that's gonna blow up. Check it out, and you love it there.
Yeah. Peace, guys. I hope you enjoyed.
Alright, bye.
Yeah.
That was really, really good.
Yeah.